Good day, blessings from the valleys and hills of Norway. This is Iron Pillar. Of course, Jesus Christ is the Iron Pillar, and Jeremiah the prophet was also an Iron Pillar. But also God calls people to be pillars in the house of God in Revelation chapter 3, the congregation of Philadelphia. For those who are victorious, they will be pillars in the house of the Lord, and they shall never go out from thence. Hallelujah. So, greetings all you iron pillars in the house of God, and other believers. Only God knows who we are. Anyway, from that unnecessary long introduction, welcome to this video. In the name of Jesus, I greet you, and today I want to talk about why people are waiting. So often people are waiting. They say they're waiting on God. They're just waiting, to the right person. They're just waiting and waiting on the Lord to renew their strength, waiting, and all they seem to be doing for years and years is waiting on God, which I deem to be unscriptural. I mean, did Paul wait for years and years to do something for God? Did he immediately went out into the desert and start working? And did anyone wait and wait and wait for like a spouse? It says that if you get married, that's fine. It's not a sin to get married, Just find a brother or sister. You're allowed to get married if you desire to do that. It's not like you need to wait for how many years, 10 years for the right one. I deem that to be unscriptural, unbiblical thought, and a delusion. Like, many of these waiting things seem to me, don't get me wrong, of course there can be a season of waiting. I'm not saying there is no season of waiting, but like for years and years waiting. Israel was in Babylon for 70 years. That's a long time. And Israel was also in Egypt for 430 years. That's also a long time. But during those years, even though they were not in their promised land, they were not in a very good place, people still got married, had families, had children, had their own lives, It seems to me that God never really, I'm not gonna say God never, I will never say God never, that is so wrong, but it seems to me that God generally did not hinder people from getting married, ever. But I'm not gonna say ever, because he told Jeremiah, you're not to have a wife. At some point, at least. So, yeah. But my rambling this day, I'm good at rambling. Sorry, sorry if I'm too negative. I don't mean to be angry. I know I can have a sharp tongue, and oh dear, I need to be careful here, because there's is that a police vehicle? Not. Okay, I'll just edit that out, but okay, where was I? I'm good at rambling, and I can have a sharp tongue. My words can be very sharp, and I know that when I start to get too angry, I feel it in my spirit, like, Thomas, come on, don't get angry just because you're... But I'm not angry, usually it's because I'm I'm just engaged in the topic, you know. I'm passionate about it. Passionate about what I'm speaking about, because I know for a fact that there are so many women, girls, who are going on 20s, 25, 26, 27, 28, into their 30s, 31, 32, 33, and still they're just waiting for Mr. Perfect. They're just waiting for that guy, and maybe not really taking action. Maybe just praying and waiting, you know, yeah, in God's perfect time. And it's okay. If you want to be single, just be single. But if you want to get married, then do something about it. God is not hindering you. You're probably just hindering yourself. And if there's some kind of things you should do to be more attractive, or, you know, be more interesting person, do that. Just fix that. You know, I need to work out. I desperately need to work out to get a stronger, more muscular body. I really need to do that, and to get my physique, my mental, you know, everything. I really need to do that. So shame on me for not doing that. But if I were to have everything in order, like if I have a house, I have the finances, I have everything that I need for a wife, then I can just go find a wife. There's nothing hindering me from doing that. Okay? I'm not gonna wait on God for thousands of years for him to deliver a wife in my mailbox. I mean, these things, he leads us to people, and then it's our decision. What do you want to do here? This is a potential spouse. You can say hi, you can say, hey, do you want to go for coffee? Or you can play hard to get, or you can go back to your chamber and pray and just wait and nothing, and for nothing to happen, because God is expecting us to do something. Why don't you do something? You know, like Britney Spears. So that's my rant about waiting for a spouse in particularly, but also waiting for anything else. I think, or I believe, I'm suspecting that most of the time when Christians are waiting for something and not actively doing something, they are actually just in delusion. They're just waiting for a miracle. They're just waiting for a miracle without, okay, there's so many ways to actually manifest things. There are techniques you can manifest. You can dream up scenarios and like make that thing actually happen in real life. But if they're not even doing that, if you're just waiting for God for the miracle, it's like, oh, please God, do this miracle. And you have to do at least some kind of least effort. You have to do something. You have to act in faith. That's why you ask, you seek, and you knock. Okay, it's not just asking and waiting. It's asking and then seeking and then knocking on the doors. And remember this woman who came to the king every day, knocking and knocking and nagging and nagging, and this evil king is like, oh my gosh, if this woman doesn't shut her mouth, I'm gonna go crazy, so I'm just gonna give her whatever she's asking for. I can't take it anymore. So how much more will our God, who is good, give us the things that we desire and ask for, you know? But point is that sometimes we have to knock the doors. We have to do something in the physical. Yeah. But of course, I'm not to be a judge over your faith and things like that. Of course, God can just send you the people. He can just do the thing, and you don't have to do basically anything for it to happen. But if you're waiting years and years and years, then I think God is waiting for you to act, to do something, okay? Don't live in a complete delusion about things that will never happen unless you do something. I believe that all things are possible for God. Nothing is impossible, even the most craziest thing. I mean, there can be $10 million just landing from a jet plane on top of your roof right now. That could happen, and your name is on it. Actually, that could happen. But if you've been waiting and waiting, I'm repeating myself, years and years, please make some kind of effort to do something to make that happen, to make that manifest. And I'm thinking especially for the women who are looking for a husband, because you actually have a time clock. You have a timer on your gender, okay, for how many years you can have a child, and things like that. And we all have a biological clock. And I remember Steve Harvey says that women have a biological clock, but men, they have a financial clock. Like, he's ready when his finances are ready, which is, I believe that's kind of true. That's very true, actually. But the women, they are ready when they are mature, and they can have babies. They're ready for marriage, unless they want to have the career and everything like that. And I'll also say, I'm not judging or anything. It's totally up to you. But if you're a career woman and you're like a very independent woman, you have your career, you've been working a long time for it, and you want to keep having your career, even in a marriage, then I'll just say that that's more difficult than if you were a stay-at-home mom, because you are going to be more stubborn and hard-headed. You want your will in the marriage, and you want to do your thing. You want your career. You want your husband to be similar to you, and you want to have the children in daycare. You want to have everything like a career, family life. And not all men find that attractive, to be honest, and I'm not gonna get personal on that, but it can be a bit hard for the man to have a very strong-willed woman, or like a very independent career woman, because they will have a very strong will, and if the man is to be the head of the household, it makes it a bit more difficult to work together like that, or to be the man of the household, because the woman will be so strong-willed. She has been independent for maybe 10-20 years, having her own career, managing everything herself, not ever having a husband by her side, and then to go into a marriage where she has to submit to a man, and maybe he's not as smart as her, he's more stupid. I mean, in IQ, intelligence, he's not so smart, he's not so wise. Maybe, and even if he makes less money than her, oh boy, then I would. That's a very difficult situation, because the pride of the man is already hurt, and the woman is frustrated that he is actually not like an alpha male, because he's not making more money than her, unless she's very, very like humble and loving and things like that. But this is very hard because we're people, This is very difficult. I think we need to find. It's most easy to find people in your own level. Like, if you're very intelligent, academic, you probably fit best together with an academic, because you're used to thinking and discussing things, like highly intelligent things. And then if your spouse is what can I say, like uneducated, or from a very poor place where they're not academic. I'm not saying that all poor people are not academic, but most poor people are not academics, and they have a different way of thinking, and they don't understand the more the highest peak. So for those to be together in a happy marriage could also be more difficult, especially when there like problems arise, like where they have to make decisions about the children and they have completely different standpoints and viewpoints. That can be difficult, but I'm not saying it's impossible. Like, I think if a man is academic and the woman is not academic, it's probably easier than if the woman is academic and the man is not academic. That must be a terrible match. If the woman is academic and the man is not, oh gosh, I think that's gonna be very hard, very difficult. That's just my personal opinion. But you can leave a comment, let me know what you think. So I don't know, but my main point was that if you're praying for a spouse, go do something to get it. Be the person that can have the spouse that you want. Become the person that is entitled to have that woman or that man that you are wanting to have, desiring to have. So especially the ladies, don't sit on your laurels. Don't wait for Mr. Perfect. You have to go get him. You have to make a move, show interest. Because the man is not always gonna do anything. Like, if a man is if a man feels that he is high value, he will rarely choose like any woman and just go to you and pick you. He is gonna find the one that suits him. Like, he's gonna find out. He's not just gonna go for the first. Like maybe you would, if it's a high class man, or he deems himself to be like high value. He's not gonna pick the first and best. He's gonna sort out. He's gonna be very intelligent. Like, he's gonna think and sort out who could be the best match for him, and who really who he really is turned on by, like, not just physically but also mentally, spiritually, all aspects. He's not just gonna pick anyone. So maybe you have to show him, convince him, persuade him that you are the best, even though you may not have all the things perfectly, but you still have guts to go up to him. You still have the fear of God. You have like these things. You can show him what you got. Not everything, of course. Don't strip naked before him in the physical, but show him what values you got, what skills, or like what what's it called? What personal abilities you got, right? Okay. Anyway, God bless you. This was a long rant. Probably you didn't hear half of it, but anyway, I'm just putting it out there. God bless you. Have a great day. Love you. Bye.